Good evening, friends. I have no PPT, but I have just 5 points for your brain to think over about our textile and apparel industry. India is preparing its takeoff in Make in India strategy. So this is the moment India awaited and lived for, to seize the status of economic superpower. Vision without action is a dream. Action without a vision is a nightmare. Thankfully, we have a vision under a dynamic leadership of our Prime Minister. Make in India is the strategy, is the action. The milestones that are in front of textile industry and apparel industry is to multiply threefold into 350 billion US dollars by 2025 and create jobs for 35 million people. Mind you that below 25 years in India, there are 35% of the people of our population. We are all sitting in a big bomb. Unless this country creates jobs for this youth, there will be a social revolution, a rebellion. We industry professionals have this obligation. Our forefathers, our predecessors have provided jobs to us. We have the same responsibility to create these jobs to the generations to come. Therefore, a major responsibility is falling on textile industry. Only textile industry is next to agriculture in providing largest employment. This is the task before textile industry. Now, let us pause and see the other side of the coin. It takes 63 days from the time a purchase order is given to an Indian company, Indian textile or apparel company, till the shipment leaves the mill or the factory. 63 days. It takes 31 days for China. It takes 46 days for Vietnam. How are we going to beat China in next 10 years? Why is this gap? Textile and apparel was reserved in this country for SSI, small scale industries. Only in 2000, it got deregulated, so big players entered. But still, big entrepreneurs, industrialists, they shy away in investing huge investments and making large enterprises. If you go to China, you see any textile mill or an apparel factory, there will be minimum 10,000 to 30,000 workers under one roof. In India, it's so sad. It is just 5,000 people maximum are under textile and apparel. We are so much fragmented. This is the state of affairs. Therefore, what is the role? I am restricting my discussion today and my thought process from the point of human resource angle. So my 5 points are: number one, the government of India, Karnataka government, and veterans in the industry and HR professionals must impress and say, unless we create large organizations like steel, like petroleum, we will not be able to compete with China. We will not be able to meet these targets by 2025. I will give an example in a niche segment called home textiles, where my organization, Imad Sinka, is a leader. Like us, Wellspun, Trident, we all have created large facilities. Our facility is 400 acres in Hassan, with the state of the facilities. We are able to, along with Wellspun and Trident, we have marched and we are the leaders in the world, beating China hands down. And this is the approach we require in apparel and textile industry. This is my first point. The second point is the skill gap. All of you know in the industry, when we get fresh students from engineering colleges, diplomas, various colleges, they are not employable immediately. The skill gap is there. There are so many IITs in our country. They seem to be exporting only talent to West. But do you know that only one IIT, Delhi, is giving specialization in textile engineering? None of the other IITs are giving. What is this? What is more saddening is the cutoff rank in IIT Delhi for textile engineering is 4,700, whereas for other streams it is just 2,000. What is going to happen for the technical leadership in the textile industry is really scary. Unless we wake up to build our pipeline of technical leadership, it is going to be a Herculean task. This is my second point. There is only one ICT, Institute for Chemical Technology, in this country for processing the fabric in textile industry. Earlier it used to be called UDCT. Only one. We have mushroomed NIFT, right? IITs, IIMs, but ICT is left out. So these are the various skill gaps. There is a big lacuna from HR point of view. For engineering industry, for automobile industry, the supply of blue-collar workers are coming from ITIs. In Karnataka alone, there are 1,000 ITIs, government and private. Similar program for textile industry is not there. This is a big lacuna. We need to address this skill gap, the supply of trained manpower. We are talking about skill development program. No skill can be imparted over a period of 3 months. It requires a natural period of at least 1 year. Therefore, it has to be taught very, very deeply. The third point I would say is There are, we are leaders in spinning. There are second generation, third generation engineers who are working in the industry. There are many people who have retired. The knowledge that has drained off has not been captured. Textile Ministry should bring all those veterans, catch those best practices, and create forums so that this is used across the industry. The fourth is, I call it cost side pressures. I have seen many apparel industries where the cost of manpower is getting escalated even to the extent of 30% of their turnover. Why? Because of the inefficiencies, the boutiqueness, lack of systems, poor production planning. They are not having the benefit of the modern technologies of Six Sigma, ERP, right? SCM, supply chain management, IT technology. These are all possible unless you create a big organization which can afford this. So the cost side pressures are going to continue. It will be a rat race for Indian textile industry and apparel industry if you are getting on to the sandwich between the buyer and the supplier. Last but not least, it's a very fundamental issue. I would like to leave it in your minds. I would like to draw an analogy from IT industry. Y2K, all of you must be remembering. IT industry of India jumped on Y2K and milked Western customers without knowing that they would fall as a prey. So the Western customers used IT industry's brawn power, just coding, and they became job workers. The brain power of IT industry is not used. Therefore, today, the IT industry is shivering when H-2B1 visa is at question. But friends, in textile industry and apparel industry also, we are going to hit the same H-2B roadblock. Why? We are only a contract manufacturers. We don't have intellectual property rights unless Government of India and the industry have the guts to invest and compensate the best of the brains and create intellectual property rights. We'll continue to be contract manufacturers and run the rat race. These are my 5 points I would like to leave in your mind, but these problems have to be addressed in order to gain leadership and the superpower in economic is one. Therefore, I would like to leave all of you with this simple thought. Let us do our best. What we sow today, India will reap later. Jai Hind.